Hello, everybody. What is up? I'm Jay with Guilty of Crime, and we're back. Boy, did I miss everybody. Come on in, guys. Do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, get a membership if you can. Let me fix my hair, get the hawk going. I need a haircut. But listen, guys, I'm so happy to have you today. And this case, I've been covering, and I'm covering it because it means something. We want justice for Celeste Rivas, and it's not fair that her parents did not protect her. It's not fair that she was groomed by this garbage pedo David. And then you've got a garbage pedo David that has a little boyfriend, a little twink guy that knows more than he should. And guys, listen, leaked video of David's boyfriend. I'm going to call his boyfriend's Neo's arrest. What will Neo tell the police? Is he going to flip on him? And third, guys, there's a third suspect that's been identified. I'm going to identify her to you today. There's way too many people that know, including Celeste Rivas's parents, that knew every time she ran off. They knew exactly where she was. Also, they lie when they say she didn't come home, go back and forth, tell her. They know. They know, they knew, and it's bullshit. And today, guys, my panel up here is full of information. So buckle up, buckle in, because this case is a passion for me. He met Celeste when she was 11, guys. I did my research. I've been doing my research all weekend long after seeing the arrest. And I got to tell you guys, I'm heated. I'm heated, but I got to get this information out to you because I feel like I have an 11-year-old daughter, and Celeste Rivas was 11 years old when this pedo piece of garbage right here met her and groomed her to get off of her PlayStation or Discord or all those things that all of our children are on. She was groomed heavily by multiple people. And when I tell you that, I'm telling you his friends were helping too. And I got to tell you, somebody's going to flip. I'm trying to fix the way I look. Somebody's going to flip. That's what I got to say. So listen, buckle up, buckle in. Leaked video of David's boyfriend, Neo's arrest. What will Neo tell the police? And the third suspect identified. This third suspect, guys, has been avoiding talking with the grand jury. Okay. They're avoiding talking to the grand jury. And you thought it was just Neo? No, 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 my friends. You're going to find out much more today. Thank you for becoming a member, PGH. I'm coming in hot. One Man's Trash, a member for 8 months. And Dahlia X, thank you so much. You've been hooking it up. Choo choo, getting this party started. All right, let me say hi to all y'all. David is where this starts. The case gets bigger. And I'm not going to stand for an 11-year-old being groomed online while everybody knew about it and they hid it. They helped this piece of trash hide it. And then somebody was driving that Tesla. And I'm telling you, the SF investigates, knows. All right. These people know who were driving the car. Law enforcement knows who was driving the car. And I do think that Tesla that they dumped with Celeste's body in it was supposed to be moved, and somebody backed out of it. Okay. Somebody backed out of it because they didn't want it. They were scared. It was already starting to smell. It had been there for weeks. I'm telling you, somebody, and not David, was supposed to move that car elsewhere with the body in it, and it didn't get there. All right. I don't know if that's SF Investigates. Let me double check. Yes, SF Investigates has the search warrant. So I'm not just giving you SF Investigates. Don't worry, Shadow. SF Investigates has the docs, and I'm going to show you the docs, right? All the docs are going to be here backed up. That's why I have a panel full of stuff up top to go through, because it's all coming out. And it's not me just making stuff in my head. It's the documentation that y'all need to understand what's going on here. So come on in, guys. And I did wake up today all stuffy because it's cold outside. My boss is sick, so I'll be okay. But guys, what's up, Gopher? Hello, Jay, from extremely cold, snowy, icy, negative temperatures in Virginia. Well, welcome. I hope you're keeping warm. I'm here in California. I got a long sleeve and pants, and I'm still a bit cold, but I'm in Cali, so it's probably like 60 degrees outside. All right, Maggie and that other bitch laughing her. Oh, girl, Maggie, don't even. We're getting to that. Don't you worry, my friend. We're getting to Asia. Asia knew exactly what was going down, and from one girl to another, she should have helped her out. Instead, all everybody can think about is money and loyalty to that piece of trash pedo, David. All of them are pedos because I believe they were all sleeping together. Okay. And I absolutely believe, and I'm going to tell you today, I believe Asia Collins is that surprise grand jury witness that they can't get a hold of. And they're talking about a female. Kel's grabbing her coffee. Grab a coffee, my friend. And speaking of coffee, mods, if you can drop the buy me a coffee link so I can get to CrimeCon 2026 in Vegas, that would be awesome. All right, so buckle up, buckle in, guys, because we got a lot of information today, and I think y'all are gonna be like need a mind a little cleanser after this because it's entertaining, but it's real life. All right, so stay in the house, be warm, guys. I love you. Thank you all for being here. Thought Criminal. Let's jump into it because we got a big show. Yes, for your brother, Saucy Skins. Always 420 coming up. Thank you. All right, guys, I got to go up. If y'all can help, cool. If not, don't apologize. Yes, Patricia, her parents took money from David. They need to be charged with trafficking. We're getting into all of that. But today's topic, we're going to watch this other little twink boy get arrested. And I'm telling you, Twinkie and Asia are going to flip. They're going to flip and they're going to get out of those murder charges that are coming down the pipe. All right, so let's get into it. Neo was arrested and released. We covered that last week. I covered that for you at the end of the episode and in a short. All right, Chrissy says, boy, do I need this tonight. I got a stalker on Facebook. Oh, no. Listen, girl, Chrissy, send me an email, guiltyofcrimebyj@gmail.com. I got advice for you, my friend. I really, truly do got advice for you, and I can probably help. So, Chrissy, guiltyofcrimebyj@gmail.com. Send me an email, and I'll talk you through it. It's a lot of stuff going on. He's a creep, but it gets even deeper. Listen, he's been swarming around junior highs and high schools, guys. You think David looks creepy? Well, you're not far off because just wait for today. All right, let's get going because this fool was arrested. You're going to see all that. We're going to go through all of it. I think, you know what I want to do first? I want to just show you without any context. I'm going to show you this garbage man. And by the way, mommy has money. All right. Neil Langston's mommy has money. And this guy was retreating to mommy's house. All right. He was retreating to mommy's house. He thought he was going to be safe there. He didn't take the grand jury seriously at all. But you know what I'm going to tell you? The grand jury is serious AF, guys. If the grand jury wants you for a murder indictment and you get a pedophile involved, I'm going to tell you. What I think about this guy all episode long. All right, let's watch this little twink boy get arrested and then we'll get into the context. I wanted to give you a few videos and images of the arrest and the third person that is suspected. All right, so let's watch this real quick just because I really want you to see his arrest. Up, everybody, come on in, my friends. Now listen, nobody reported anything. And when I show you Asia, if you haven't seen Asia, she looks like what Celeste would look like if she was able to grow up. That bitch didn't say anything either, but what she does say is little subliminal messages. And you'll see what I'm talking about because I'm going to show you some video and then I'm going to break down the context of it all. I'm allowed to say twink. I like seeing him get handcuffed. Let's watch it again. Come on in, guys. Hit that like button. And I'm allowed to say twink. He's a barefoot twink. I hope he stocks up on that lube, man, or he's going to be buying Vaseline in prison. If he doesn't flip, he better stock up on the Vaseline because Twink Boy is about to be a bottom bitch. And boop. And you know, the condescending part about this is this piece of trash smiled for his mugshot, but he never smiles in any other pictures. What a smug little twink prick. Listen, mommy's not going to get you out of this, sir. All right? Mommy's not getting you. And don't worry, I'm going to give you guys the context to everything, but that little twink boy's arrested. Let me give you the context, and then I'm going to show you the other female that is going to be required to be there. The smug shot. Check this out. So you saw him be arrested. I also want you to know he was bonded out. So let's get to it. But yes, I got a big show, a lot of info. Get your paper, get your pens, or just get your thinking caps on.
Angeles, California, after he was arrested a couple of days ago for failing to appear as a witness in front of the grand jury. And he was in custody with the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department for a brief period of time before he was able to bond out. His bond was set at $60,000. He had to pay 10% of that, so $6,000, and he was released at 9:41 this morning. Now, just because he was released on bond doesn't mean that he's off the hook. Remember, posting bond just gets you out of custody.
Now, listen, they were serious. He ran off to mommy's house. And by the way, I looked into mommy. Mommy has privilege. That's why this Twinkie is smiling. He's not going to smile for long when he realizes what is coming next. They take the grand jury very seriously. And I told you guys that when I covered this the last time. I covered this in December, and I said, guys, this case is going to take a break until February. When February rolls around, it's all going to get stirred up because the grand jury is ready to go with an indictment. That's why he got arrested. But he did get bonded out. It was $60,000, which was $6,000. And Twink Boy, I bet she's going to flip and sing like a little gay fairy that he is.
Doesn't solve the underlying issue. So now what's going to happen next is that he is going to get a new court date, and he will have the opportunity to appear and cooperate this time. If not, there is going to be stricter penalties against him. Failing to testify and being arrested for failing to testify is tied to contempt of court. So once you've been arrested for it, judges tend to have less patience, and excuses that might have.
And listen, there's a secret witness that they need for the grand jury, and I'm going to show you that. I'm going to show you who it is right after this. She's hiding out, but I'm telling you, she's not going to be able to hide for long, and she knows exactly what happened, just as Neo Langston, in my opinion, knows exactly what happened. They know. We got David, we got Neo, and we got Asia. Those are the three main people that know. Now we need to find out who the driver was that dumped the car, and there's some more things.
Have worked prior for why one couldn't testify does not work the second time around. If he fails to cooperate again, he could have his bond revoked, he could be rearrested, and the judge may order jail time without bond. In order for him to rectify this entire solution, he just needs to testify in front of this grand jury. Why he doesn't want to is weird. I was trying to figure out who bonded him out, but I don't think that that's public record. I was looking everywhere and I don't see it. Yikes. It's not out right now. But of course, as more information comes out, you can find it all here on my page. What are your thoughts on all of this? Let me know in the comments. So this morning, David's close friend, Neo, was extradited back to Los Angeles, California, after he was arrested.
All right, so we know he was arrested. We know that they arrested him in, what did it say? Minnesota or Montana, whatever the heck. We're going to go over all the details of it, but they brought him back. He bonded out. You can say you're going to take the fifth all you want, my friends, but listen, here's the bottom line of you saying, I'm going to take the fifth, guys. The bottom line is that they will indict him on murder and desecration of a body. And I guarantee you, he's not going to plead the fifth when they put those capital murder charges with aggravating factors of a minor, an 11-year-old minor. She was 11 when they started grooming her. And when I say they're all involved. They meaning Neo, Asia, David, and so many other of the crew members. You're going to find out today because what I'm presenting to you, you're going to see what people are saying, what they aren't saying, what they know, what they don't know, what they're insinuating. Now, listen to this. They're looking for her right now. Asia Collins. I'm going to tell you, I believe this is the third suspect in that they need for the grand jury to bring down the indictment. They need witnesses to tell the grand jury the evidence. That's what they need, is the witnesses to corroborate the evidence and the time frame.
So much stuff that goes behind the scenes that you.
And guys, I apologize for the music, but I need you to see what she's saying. And I need you to understand that she knows she had total control of her life because of the secret. What's up, Michelle? Good to see you. All right, let me open this more for you because there's a little bit of reading. This is Asia Collins. This is going to be the third person. We've got one person of interest, which is David. We got a second person that was just arrested, Neil Langston, and released. They want him for the grand jury, which I told you is going to bring the indictment. And then we've got a third female that they're trying to get to talk. And I'm going to show you what I'm saying. But look at what she says and what she knows. This was just days ago, guys. This was days ago. This isn't the last you're going to hear from her on this episode.
You guys just do not see. But I digress. You guys will probably find out some of the people I'm.
Okay, so she's saying she knows something, but we're going to find out. And then she goes into talking about bad karma. Tell me she doesn't look like an older version of Celeste Rivas. If you tell me that, then something's wrong with my eyes. She's even dressed up like her in other videos. Listen to what she says. And I got to read a little bit to you.
That goes behind the scenes that you guys just do not see.
She said there's a lot that goes behind the scenes that you guys just don't know. Okay.
But I digress. You guys will probably find out some of the people I'm talking about very soon, because when you're a bad person, eventually everyone finds out naturally. That's the thing about bad people. They expose themselves.
That's the thing about bad people. They expose themselves. Okay. I'm telling you, and I've got other videos with her in the video wearing the same glasses, and they all knew that Celeste was 11 years old. They groomed her out of the Discord platform and brought her over. And I'm telling you guys, every time Celeste ran away, her parents knew where she was. I would love to get those bank records, my friends. All right, listen, let's keep going.
I don't need to do anything. Karma's a bitch.
Wait, I didn't want to. She's got these posts and they go too quick. It says, and these are hers, guys. This says Asia Collins. Since people are being super disrespectful, I will clarify something. I did not know the girl. I did not know the girl, her age. May she rest in peace. I've never posted any videos with Celeste Rivas. Only my friends, Vanessa and Celeste, the other Celeste Hera, who are commonly being mistaken as Celeste Rivas. So now there's 3 people that are being mistaken for Celeste Rivas, and she's one of them. Everybody wants to act like TikTok detectives, yet can't tell the difference between the people. All right, so let's pack it up. That's what she's saying. Then she says the investigation is ongoing. I will speak on the things when I can and feel ready. Please respect my privacy and allow for the police to do their job. And then she goes to say, for legal purposes, hold on. For legal and safety reasons, I do not feel comfortable talking about the case. I will speak about it in due time. In the meantime, I suggest you don't believe everything you see online. All right, and then more, Asia Collins. You're right. I shouldn't have used the word defended. That's my bad. I meant this little sus that you can come here and comment on my post. confirming this is you, but not take a public stand and talk about the David situation. And then she says, it is not as simple as you make it. And then it says, girl, I know you're probably going through it. It sucks that a person so close to you did this to a literal child, but you or your friends had to have met her for you to stay silent on the whole situation. Doesn't look good to your fans. They want you to denounce his, and then they continue. And then it says, here, Asia, I never said you were or did. Just saying, weird how you're posting less since early September. That was when Celeste died. Life is expensive, bae, and I'm depressed. All right. Remember that. David was paying these people as well. And then it says, well, either way, you knew he was seeing a minor and you just didn't care to say anything. And she said, I didn't know her age. Shit breaks my heart. By the way, that was her filming it on the other end. That was her watching this weirdo dance like a little weirdo twink boy, freaking goth looking wannabe killer.
People that be like code switching all the time and you can't really tell like what's their real personality. I feel like I act the same no matter who I'm.
If she put glasses on right now, she looks identical to Celeste Rivas, guys. And she's not the only one. There are 2 others, at least, that are like body doubles for her. All right? Foxy, thank you for the 420 membership in honor of your brother, Christopher. And Indy Isham, thank you so much for the 499. My girl, Don Shoot. Yeah, hit that like, y'all. What's up, Mr. Mab? How you doing, my friend? All right, I'll keep the hearts up there. All right, let's finish this so we can continue because I haven't even got into it yet.
Around, but you know, like even like on stream and off stream, I'm still exactly the same. Like you can meet me in person, I'm still gonna be exactly the same. But I cannot say the same for everybody. So.
Yeah, I'm sure lots of people are different.
All right, just remember, we got Asia, we got Neo Langston, and I am, in my opinion, absolutely speculating that the indictment for the grand jury is coming, and they just need to finish getting the witnesses together. So I'm going to pull that down. I'm going to tell you who Neo is quickly, and then I'm going to read you the articles and get into everything else. All right, who is Neo, guys? If you don't know anything about it, or you think you know, maybe you don't, I'm going to put this for you. Who is Neo?
And why is his name suddenly everywhere? Neo is known as a close associate of singer D4vd, but now he's making headlines for a very different reason. Authorities arrested him in Montana after he failed to appear as a witness in the investigation into Celeste Rivas's death. He hasn't been charged in the killing, but missing court in a case.
And boy, do I love these pictures, because in these pictures, his face is as long as his eyes are. Again, I just don't like these people that are covering for a pedo and probably even engaging in sexual activities with minors as well.
Case this serious is a big deal. As the investigation continues, many are now.
Oh, there's the shirt. Sounds gay. I'm in. I'm telling you guys, these guys are too close. I believe they were all having sex with each other. Yes, Neo, David's boyfriend, was arrested. They call him BF, which could be best friend. I call him his boyfriend. All right. And that shows you there. No man's going to wear sounds gay, I'm in, and then be hugging on and loving on some dude all the time. All right. That's just not how life works. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. I don't care what generation you're in. It's just not how it goes down.
Asking, what does Neo know, and why was his testimony so important?
Look at that. There he is hugging his BFF. All right. And this is what I wanted you to know. Yes. Butt fudger, Diddy Jr., twink boy. Look at that. It looks like David's actually the bottom bitch in this. Man, as gay as the gay AF. I mean, come on, guys. What does Neo know? Why did they arrest him? Why does the grand jury need him so bad? And why do they need Asia Collins so bad? All right. Zut lover, butt fudging. Yeah, all the things. Now's the time. Y'all can say all of it. All right, you can get away with all the gay rhetoric because they're pedos and killers, in my opinion. So whatever.
Important. Who is Neo?
All right, we're done. We're done. Let's get into that. Now we're going to get into what the heck has been going on the streets of Hollywood, California, Los Angeles, California. All right, let's get to it. This guy never smiles, but he smiled in his mugshot because he's a smug prick. All right, so this was January 24th. TMZ's got David's friend Neo Langston was kicking back at his mom's cozy Montana home before police paid him a surprise visit on Thursday. That was last Thursday. Busted him for failing to appear as a witness in Los Angeles. TMZ had learned. All right. And then hold on, let me get this ready for you so I can keep reading. All right, we first reported, TMZ has been doing the best and the most in this case, guys. They say we first reported Neo was pictured getting handcuffed by, hold on, I want to get this back up here for you in a second. All right, I don't know why they do that. I wish I could not have this. Okay, Neo was pictured getting handcuffed by a small army of cops in Helena, Montana, after a Los Angeles judge signed off on an arrest. He was transported to LA and booked at, okay, here it is. Hold on. There it is. No? Let's go back. All right. He was booked and transported back to LA into LAPD's Metropolitan Detention Center, $60,000 bail. You guys know that's nothing. And I've been following this guy on X where you can see, oh, it popped up somewhere else. Never mind. I'm not going to put that up right now. All right. So anyway, we got some nice, good images of him on January 22nd being arrested. And then we got breaking David Neo Langston has been arrested and booked in Lewis County. Now, guys, I know you're hearing a lot about why he was arrested and that it doesn't it's not involved in the case, but that's completely not true. They need him as a grand jury witness and they want to know exactly what he knows. And if he doesn't tell it, in my opinion, speculation, he will be arrested on more serious charges. Now, public records show Neo's mom, Cynthia, purchased her Helena home in March 2025. TMZ reached out to his mom about her son's arrest, and she declined to comment. Around November 2025, and I told you guys this right before Christmas, a grand jury was convened to investigate the death of Celeste Rivas, whose dismembered corpse was found inside David's Tesla in Hollywood last September. Our sources say David is viewed as a suspect. Celeste is apparent in her homicide, but he has not been arrested or charged. We're told there's a second suspect that has now been identified. We've got Neo, or are they talking about the female? Let's listen in for a minute.
Everything we now know, it is very likely, if not all but certain, that he is going to be indicted by a Los Angeles County grand jury for the presumed.
Now, you know who they're talking about. They're talking about David being indicted by a grand jury for the murder of Celeste Rivas. But we're looking at his inner circle, and yes, we're going to even get into that. Listen, Joseph, the parents clearly knew, and you're going to see this in the article, the parents knew when she came home that she was going back to David's, and they were nicely compensated. All right. Are you okay, Holly? All right. I want to see the parents. I know, me too. They're staying out of it. What's up, Mr. Smoking? Good to see you. All right. Amber, this is my first time I actually get to see her live. Most of the time I have to watch the next day. Hope everyone's well. Well, Amber, welcome to the Crime Crew family live. Thank you. All right. Let's keep going.
Murder of Celeste Rivas.
This is a grand jury that has been convened since just over a month, at least, about a month ago.
Could have been more than that. 2 months.
Right. And that initially, what we had heard is that this was an investigative grand jury, that they were just subpoenaing different people to get testimony hoping to help police with their investigation.
That was based on a newspaper report.
Right.
But guess what? It's not an investigative grand jury. It's a grand jury for an indictment on this pedo monster. Okay. And yes, the parents are absolutely responsible. I'll say it now. I'll say it again. I'll say it 20 more times if you want me to.
And what we have now been told, no, this is a grand jury looking to indict someone for the murder of Celeste Rivas.
Yes.
And
we know who the someone is.
And that someone.
David is squarely in the crosshairs of the person who is going to be prosecuting the case. Her name is Beth Silverman. She is, you know, there's a lawyer in town named Marty Singer. We always call him the legal pit bull. She is every bit
the DA's version of the legal pit bull.
Yes. And she has been, as a matter of fact, Alexa, come over here for a second.
We know that she's been some of the people that she's been grilling.
Coming over.
And the reason I like TMZ is because it's straight from the source. All right. I see what you guys are talking about. You guys are funny in chat right now. What's up, Missy? Good to see you. Millie, hello, my friend. I know. Celeste Rivas, forever 14. But guess what? She was groomed from 11 on. So how much of a childhood did she really have? What's up, Brain? Good to see you. Before my bed calls. Kathy, my girl, hit that like button. Buy me a coffee. All right. Yeah, we have 177 people and nobody likes it. Just kidding. All right, let's keep going. I assure you there's a lot today. Straight from the source.
Do we have a boom mic over?
Yeah. So Alexa has been down at the grand jury room for a couple of weeks now. And they're in a recess right now for the holiday. But you saw the manager of David, the day-to-day manager, going in and out. And when he came out and talked to his lawyer, he made it clear that Beth Silverman was rabid about this case.
Yeah, Robert Morgan Roth, obviously David's day-to-day manager, been seen with him a lot on tour. He kind of poked at that. He told Beth that he really didn't feel like it was his responsibility.
Well, she said, why didn't you call the cops? She said this to him when he was testifying. Why didn't you call the cops?
Yeah, and he explains that Beth was very pushy on that answer, getting that answer out of Robert. But he said it wasn't his responsibility and that he just wanted to continue.
And again, we don't know what the question was before that led to her saying, why didn't you call the cops?
Or something he had said. But it's
and guys, this doesn't happen often, okay? It doesn't happen often where somebody is called to the grand jury and a prosecutor makes a giant stink out of it and creates a whole campaign around this. I'm telling you, there's a reason why they're making this such a big deal. All right. Supposedly earlier than that, Jay, a man named Gus alleged. I don't know. I'm missing chat when I'm reading or listening, but well, let's keep going.
Clearly a crime because you call the cops when there's a crime.
Right.
So
she believes there was a crime.
There was something that Morgan Roth apparently knew because he acknowledges it's not my responsibility. Something.
Okay, so that guy also knows more, and that's the manager. That's the one that was paying for the house. It was behind. He was managing all the stuff. I'm sure he's going to be or had already been called to the grand jury as a witness. I wish we had paperwork or documentation to who's on that list, but it's just not realistic. They're not going to tell us.
He knew that triggered Beth Silverman into saying, well, why didn't you call the cops? So it had to be something involving a crime. Now, we know that her body was found in his Tesla in a bizarre set of circumstances where in the spring, he made this mysterious trip, David did, to Santa Barbara and spent a couple of hours in the middle of the night.
Right.
And then came back.
And keep in mind, and of course, the car was found very close to the home that he had been renting. I mean, everything from day one.
Renting. The lease was under the name of the co-manager who was in Morgan Roth's company.
Right. So it's all kind of aligning.
It's all around David. I mean, as they say, like it's closing in. The walls. If you're David, you've got to feel like the walls are closing in on you because the people that they've brought before this grand jury, plus everything that we know about the case already, that lines up around him.
Now, the grand jury's supposed to convene in February, in the beginning of February, and that's why they're trying to get everybody together. And I'm sorry you guys were it seems like some of you guys, the weather's killing your service. He was aware. He was aware. That's why he said, when they said you should call the cops, and he said that's not my job. I'm telling you, the grand jury's going to take him. David's going to be cooked, and so are other people.
And grand juries,
The old adage is you can indict a ham sandwich.
That's
they
right.
are going to listen to what the prosecutors present as evidence. And even if this started in some investigatory
I don't
fashion,
think it didn't.
It probably didn't,
It
but
didn't.
but this can morph into something they're going to hand down an indictment. That's what grand juries typically do. You can go on this fishing.
But we now know it's going to be one to indict at this point, because everybody keeps saying, why is David not now arrested? Well, that's why, because the grand jury is the one that has to get together and hand down the indictment. Remember Brian Koberger, the secret grand jury, all that stuff? You remember? Probably do. That's what we're talking about.
Expedition and investigate, but typically their job is to hand.
We've confirmed this now.
Yeah.
Multiple sources. It was never an investigative grand jury.
Right. Totally understand. So now their job is to take what evidence is presented to them, even with witnesses who may be combative, and hand down an indictment. Whether that is murder or something else, we don't know that yet, or what degree of murder you're going to have.
We do know this. The cops have said, sources within the police department have told us, they are treating this as a murder, as is the DA.
So that's good news, guys, because I know that you probably see 20 different videos a day on David's arrested, all this breaking news and this clickbait. That's not the case. The law and the justice, sometimes the wheels of justice, many times, work very slowly, and that's what's happening here. But somebody's going to be charged soon.
So they are looking at this as a murder, and they are looking at David as their primary
So
suspect.
once this grand jury, look, they may not even need to come back. We don't know.
They could do it much earlier. There's a hearing, I believe, scheduled for February.
Right. And in
But-
January. Right.
And this is what we need to know. I wasn't going to report on this until February when that happened, but I also had no idea that they have a female on their list that is a witness that they cannot get to cooperate. And then out of nowhere, I did not realize that they were going to arrest Neo. I had no idea, unless they were going to arrest him for driving the car. They know who drove the car, guys.
I don't think they're going to rush
But they
things.
could,
But
well,
that's the thing. It's just so unclear.
They've taken it very carefully this far.
There's
They
some-
don't want to botch it at the 5-yard line.
there's something I know. I don't think that February witness is essential based on, I can't say what I know, but I don't think that witness is essential. So they may wait until then, but they may not. I mean, they could come in at whatever point. And
They could. Why not belt and suspenders? They've been so careful, and they've taken so much heat for being so slow and deliberate about this.
But TMZ is the source that goes to the courthouse. They're all there. Yeah, they should indict David like now before he flees. I agree, but I do believe they have a very tight lock on where he is. I would hope, because he is in fact a flight risk due to his financial situation and being able to just hop on a jet or a plane and go anywhere he wants. All right.
This process, I wonder whether they will go through all of the motions. I don't know. You have more.
now
sense.
he is not the only suspect. There are people they believe helped him.
Right.
So this is what we're talking about. And the people that I believe helped him, number one, Asia. Asia helped him navigate whatever the situation was. Neo helped as well. I think Neo is definitely a front runner in this, and he will flip. He will absolutely flip on him. All right, let's continue this. We got so much today.
And
In particular, the night he went to Santa Barbara.
right. And based on what I've been told, I think there's going to be at least one other person who's going to be indicted for this.
Hello, I'm Melodak. I'm from Spring Hill, Florida. And finally, David is on a shopping list to get charged for Celeste's murder.
See, this is why I love TMZ, because they get the inside info, and then that inside info goes to Court TV and Law and Crime. Who would have thought, right? All right, let's keep going. Love you guys. Hit that like button. I know the weather's wonky, but yeah.
Possibly, because it's still not for certain. We know his manager testified, and I feel like in the beginning they were trying to.
And guys, let's say a prayer that Celeste Rivas gets the justice she deserves. Now, what she's saying is in the beginning they are trying to pin all of this, I believe, on David, but guys, there's going to be that female, I'm telling you, mark my words.
Pin all of this on the manager for him to take the downfall.
Oh, they try to pin it on the manager. I also hear that they were trying to pin it on Asia. You'll hear about that.
But I truly feel this was a multi-person operation. Yep. I think David was involved, and I think his manager and possibly even other people. It's just crazy that it has taken this long for them to get this far, and for there still not to be an arrest, just the possibility of an arrest.
Well, you got to think about the circumstances here, that it is a tangled web.
Well, they've got an arrest started, which is good news. All right. Harris says, we're not used to this cold shit in Texas. I'm in San Jose. I'm not used to that either. My goodness.
Of going to Santa Barbara. And then if you're in Santa Barbara, why is the body ending up in a car in Los Angeles by his home?
Dismembered.
Car.
Yeah.
So there is a lot to unpack here, and I don't think this has been a particularly long time. But remember, with the grand jury, David doesn't testify. He doesn't. First of all, they could call him, but he's going to take the fifth. But
there's no one refuting the evidence.
That's right.
That the prosecutor.
Okay, so guys, you guys have been asking, is Neo gonna take the fifth? It's a different situation between Neo and David. And in my opinion, they're going to charge David with the most that they can on the murder indictment. And I believe that with Neo, he can say, I'll take the fifth all he wants. But when they start dropping charges on him that are bigger than just evading the grand jury as a witness, he's going to talk. But I think the major charges will be pinned on David. And that's why they're taking so long.
Computers are presenting. That's
right.
Why the ham sandwich can get indicted.
That's exactly right.
All right, so now I'm gonna show you I want you to see that what SF investigates. I want you to see the search warrant, and then we're gonna talk about Asia and all the other stuff. All right, so SF investigates Steve Fisher. We've seen him a lot on court TV. You can't dispute when you've got paperwork here. All right, so a couple days ago, he says, at a point of clarification, Neil Langston was not booked or housed at LA Sheriff's Department, Twin Towers. He was extradited and taken to LAPD Metropolitan Detention Center, different than the federal, and he bonded out. The Sheriff's Department is responsible for reporting all prisoners be held in LA County, which is why he appears on their website. All right, and then he bonds out. Neo Christopher Langston, 23 years old, race unknown, LA County, out of custody, bonded out. All right. And then I want to get into this is Neo Langston, extradited back. Then we got a bunch of stuff, and I'm going to show you the search warrants. This is the copy of the search warrant that was applied for and granted after LAPD was called to the tow yard, guys, to investigate a foul odor coming from David's Tesla. The warrant return is also attached. Hashtag Celeste Rivas. Let's say a prayer that she gets the justice she deserves. All right. And I just want you to take a look at this. I love me some paperwork. All right. Search warrant. And this was dated. It's hard to see the dates. I see the time 12:03. And this was the search warrant for the car, right? The car that smelled. It says property or things to be seized consistent of any item or constitute any evidence that lends to show a felony has been committed, right? And again, that's the Tesla. See attached, incorporated, following property, non-disclosure, signed for by the judge. And then here it says you are commanded to search the premises of vehicle 2023 Tesla Model Y, 4-door, black, colored license plate they took out in the VIN, as registered owner David Anthony Burke. Vehicles currently under storage at the police garage. Remember, it got towed, but I do think that it got towed because it says discovered cause of the foul odor emanating from the trunk area of the vehicle. Someone was supposed to move in my opinion, they were supposed to move the car, and they either got sidetracked or they said, I'm not doing this. This is too shady. And they left it. All right. So, statement of expertise. Detective Jason Wild has been employed. I don't care about that. I've completed numerous domestic. Okay. Based on the previous investigations, it's my opinion, the communication methods as measuring. Okay. This is all just this is just his statement of expertise. And then here's the probable cause. So now it has the date. This is the search warrant and probable cause for the Tesla. On September 8th, 2025, the detective was advised by official police garage Hollywood Tow with the address that they have a vehicle on their lot which is emanating a foul odor and attracting flies. The vehicle was reported as abandoned to Los Angeles Police Department or Transportation in the area of 1406 Bluebird and they responded on September 5th and towed it to the Hollywood Tow Yard. Vehicle's current registration comes back to Texas. Currently unable to contact registered owner, detective, whatever, responded to the location, have the vehicle emanating the foul odor and signed off on. All right. Returned to the search warrant. They did all of that and then revealed the registered owner. It took them a while. And I do wonder if somebody called in, guys, and reported the vehicle stolen or abandoned, because what they just said here leads me to believe that when they say that the vehicle was reported as abandoned to LAPD or LA Transportation. Who reported it abandoned, guys? Was it somebody that didn't want to move it? All right. So that's the search warrant and human remains located inside. David Anthony Burke all over it, going back to Texas. And by the way, all in the middle of this, guys, he's transferred his money and his assets into his parents' name. If that does not scream, listen, if that doesn't scream guilty to you, I don't know what does. Now, how is that going to work out? We know that he's loaded. All right. We know he's loaded AF. I hear that there's certain laws in many places that will not allow somebody to transfer assets in the middle while they are a person of interest. Okay. So I am really hoping that they do not allow this. Right. And I've got so much more, but we're going to get into the new evidence that shows David's ex, the girl, this chick, how it says how David's ex helped, but really it's what she knows and what she's covering up. And her name is Asia. This is, in my opinion, guys, the person of interest that the grand jury.
We have people admitting
the grand jury has a female that they have requested and has not complied. This is, in my opinion, the female Asia, aka another double of Celeste Rivas. All right. I'm in San Jose, California, my friends, and it's probably 59 degrees here. It's not too cold. All right, listen up.
it's a literal like murder in our conversation.
Oh, bro, I'm a gooner. I'm a gooner. I'm a gooner.
It's been a long wait trying to understand what really happened to Celeste Rivas. And for a long time, there haven't been many clear answers. But now, a video that's resurfacing online is making people look back at this case in a very different way. Because according to a lot of people watching this closely, that clip suggests Asia Collins may have known about Celeste's unaliving before it happened. Or at the very least, knew something serious that hadn't been explained yet. And while none of this has been proven in court, the wording in that video is exactly why the internet is paying attention again. This case involves the death of a young person, so it's important to be clear from the start. These are allegations and online speculation, not confirmed facts. But with the timing, the people involved, and the legal developments that follow.
All right, if we go back like 2 seconds, the people involved, in my opinion, guys, and I'm no psychic, because if I were, I wouldn't be doing true crime, okay? Those 3 people are the main players, in my opinion, based on the evidence that I've seen. All right. We've got Asia, which is kind of a stunt double / ex of David looking like Celeste. She helped to groom her, in my opinion, and the boyfriend twink Neo. Right? Those are the three people that you're going to start to see more and more. And yes, how could you treat a little girl like that the way they did? All right. Oh, yeah, Callie, I'm in San Jose. I'm near the bay. So there's a big breeze. It's kind of cold, but I'm all good. All right, let's keep going, guys. Check that out. Those are the players. Pay attention.
Legal developments that followed, many feel that this isn't something that can just be brushed off.
When you're a bad person, eventually everyone finds out naturally. That's the thing about bad people. They expose
Now, we just saw that directly from her account.
themselves.
Now, the video that people keep coming back to is a screen recording from one of Asia Collins' past live streams. In it, she makes a statement that immediately stood out. She says, "We have people admitting to literal, murder," while talking about confessional-style conversations. She doesn't name anyone, and she doesn't mention Celeste or David directly.
This person is a criminal. I'm sorry, it's just like we have people literally in our confessions admitting to whole ass crimes.
Yeah, why does someone just do self-criminal?
Oh my god.
But the reason this clip hits so hard is because of when it resurfaced and what was happening around that time. To a lot of viewers, it doesn't sound like a random hypothetical comment. It sounded more like someone saying too much too early, and again, that is an interpretation. One comment said, "She's a scathing human being. She knew before anyone else that David was dating a minor." Another comment said, "She encouraged and supported that. She is a loser, just like the rest of them. She better get back on OnlyFans while she can still get some money for her bond." Now, that comment is clearly coming from a place of anger and frustration, and while it crosses into personal attacks, you can still understand why emotions are running that high. And when emotions are running that high, people start going back and rewatching everything. And that's when another video that Asia posted started getting pulled back into the conversation.
Guys, trust me, I have been just going crazy with this case, trying to make sure that I find everything that I can, right, Harris? Because the truth is leaking out, but you gotta look for it. All right, you gotta look for it everywhere. I don't know if this is a troll, but so be it. Illuminati puppets. All right, then. All right. I don't know who that is. It seems like Illuminati puppets are popping up everywhere. All right. They all know and they cover it up for this piece of shit. And there's why, Liz. This is why it's taking so long to get an indictment against David, because they know once they hit the go button on that, they better move fast and they better not mess up. Because if you're looking for the details, if you're looking for the crime, if you're looking for what happened, all you got to do is look a little deeper. And that's what I'm doing here.
In it, she talks about being used as a fake girlfriend on stream, about being exploited, and about feeling like she was put in a situation that wasn't real and didn't sit right with her.
Would you be down to do some content with me? Sure, yeah, I can be down. What would we be doing? Oh, I'm going to use and then embarrass you on stream. Wait, what? Oh, my bad. And then we're gonna go on like a date on stream. I don't really know if, and I have a girl, by the way, like a secret one, but not like her. Then why not make content with her? It's just content. It's not.
And you see what's happening? They were really trying to hide this. David tried all measures to hide Celeste. He did so much that he had different girls pretending to be Celeste by just putting on glasses. I don't think they look. That's another thing, but they also have a ton of money. And the people that don't have money were being fed money by David to keep their mouth shut about his relationship with a minor. What's up, Cooking with Mr. Good Looking? How you doing? We had some nosy neighbors, just saying. A neighbor no one wants to do. That too, Donna. That too. You're right. You're absolutely right. But why didn't the car get moved before? Who was supposed to move it? Who's the one that parked it there?
Not like my girl cares or anything. Like, sure, she might spam call me because she feels like I'm cheating on her, but like she understands because it's work.
On its own, the video is vague. She doesn't name names, she doesn't spell anything out. But according to a lot of people watching it now, the timing and the wording feel a little too specific. One person said it's definitely about Celeste, allegedly. Another commented, "I thought that video was weird too.
And guys, if we went through this, if I sat here with you guys for 3 more hours, I still wouldn't even be able to give you all the information you need. So what I did was get like 20 different clips and articles and things, to put together for today's episode. So I do appreciate when Harris and you guys, you like what I'm putting out there. I appreciate you. I do put a lot of work into this, guys. If you would, it's free to hit the like button for me. Like, subscribe, super chat, super sticker, membership, all that. Thank you.
Definitely knows. Again, none of this proves anything, but it does explain why people are uneasy. Now, a lot of people are asking the same question. Why is Asia even being connected to this case in the first place? What people point to is proximity. She's been seen around him repeatedly. She's part of his inner circle. She's appeared in or around his content close to the time Celeste Rivas died. For online sleuths, that closeness matters because it places her near the timeline.
Come on, guys, look at that picture and then look at it's 3:51 a.m. and he's got that little girl with him. That little girl is Celeste Rivas. Look at Celeste. Look at the stunt double, an older version. Come on, man. I mean, they just really need to. She had pretty much free will. No, not pretty much, Lay's Phantom. She had free will 110%. The parents kept saying that Celeste was running away, but they only said that for law enforcement because she was supposed to be going to school, to public school, and so they wanted to make sure that their asses were covered. All right, thank you, Saucy. I appreciate you. Yeah, I agree. Freaking 110%. All right, let's keep going. They knew where she was. Every time she left, they knew.
And people are still trying to understand.
A hair unboxing challenge? Hey, chat, you ready? Count me down.
Back in December 2025, TMZ reported that a female witness connected to the case had refused.
All right, so this is the female that I'm referring to, and I've looked everywhere about the jury witness and the grand jury, and they're 100% saying there's another uncooperative witness to be arrested. That is a female. All right, we've got the male, Neo, and I'm going to speculate that this is the female they're looking for.
Cooperate with the Los Angeles County grand jury. No name was given. The witness was never identified publicly. According to that report, Deputy District Attorney Beth Silverman asked for a body attachment, which is basically a legal order that forces a witness to come to court after the woman failed to show up when she was supposed to testify. Another detail that caught the attention was that this unnamed witness reportedly shared the same lawyer as Robert Mongrath, someone closely connected to David's circle.
Part of this grand jury is a female witness. We're unclear of who she is or how she may be connected to the case.
A female witness, and they're not sure who it is. And no, listen, Celeste Herrera was the other chick twin, but listen up, Eileen, there were several other doubles of Celeste. As I was digging through all this, I saw so many females that looked like Celeste, but they were older. Okay, so that might be the one that we know about, the second Celeste, but there's more, guys. When this comes out, if this goes to trial, you guys are going to be blown away.
But she has been uncooperative, so much so that the district attorney is considering getting something called a body attachment.
That's where the internet filled in the gaps. Even though no names were ever released, people online started wondering if Asia could be the witness that was being talked about. Nothing has been confirmed yet, though. There have also been no updates saying whether the witness was arrested or eventually testified, and that lack of answers is exactly why people started looking harder at everyone connected to the situation. People also started going back through Asia's social media, and
oh yeah, there's a lot of hidden gems in her social media. We can have a whole episode about that. And I'll pull up that article in a second and then we'll continue. There's so much new information out today. I don't know where to start. I mean, I guess I started already, right? But I wish I had more time in the day.
And that's when these screenshots began circulating. One of them shows her saying, "For legal and safety reasons, I do not feel comfortable talking about the case. I will speak about it in due time. In the meantime, I suggest you don't believe everything you see online." Then another screenshot started making the rounds, and this one was a lot more direct. In it, she says, "Since people are being super disrespectful, I will clarify some things. I do not know the girl nor her age. May she rest in peace. I have never posted any videos with Celeste Rivas. Only my friends Vanessa and Celeste Herrera, who are commonly being mistaken as Celeste Rivas. Everyone wants to act like TikTok detectives, yet can't tell the difference between POC. Let's pack it up, y'all." Seeing these statements side by side is what made a lot of people pause, because on one hand, she's saying she can't speak for legal reasons, and on the other, she's clearly responding to the rumors head on. On top of that, online commenters claim Asia relocated to Oslo, Norway shortly after reports about the uncooperative.
Again, you don't run and you don't leave and you don't not cooperate, folks, unless you have something to hide. All right. So we've got two people now dipping out. It's all every man for themselves. We've got Neo going to mommy's house, and we've got her going to Norway. And if you look at her social media, guys, there's a lot of hints out there. Now, Indie Isham, I've done several episodes on this. Yeah, I think it's a Valley Girl talk. That's funny. Separate Valley Girl talk. The information was awesome in the video. I apologize for the voice, but listen, I believe it was a love triangle. I believe that I believe that there was some tension and jealousy between not only Neo, but his ex-girlfriend Asia and everything going on. And I don't know that they did that on purpose. It may have been an accident. They might have been giving her, she might have overdosed, guys. But you got to remember, David wanted to feel the thrill of killing someone. There's a video out there where he says specifically, guys, listen, when Celeste was 14, the time lines up when Celeste was 14. David said, somebody asked him in an interview, hey, what's your next 5 years look like? What are you going to do? And he didn't say anything. He said, not 5 years. In 4 years from now, I'm going to move away from everything and go to an island by myself and just disappear. Celeste was 14 at that time. 4 years from then would be 18. I do not think that he did that on purpose, but I do think that a lot of jealousy fueled with drugs and sex, right?
Witness surfaced. There's still no official word tying that move to the investigation, and moving countries by itself doesn't mean someone did anything wrong, but when people already feel like there's more being hidden, it just becomes another thing they add to the pile. And that's when attention shifted back to what the private investigator has been saying. Fisher has said that he knows who was driving the Tesla the last time it was seen. According to him, he was able to tell based on visual details in a newer video connected to the case. He hasn't named the driver though, and he says that's because there's still an active investigation with the Los Angeles Police Department. But people online are already filling in the blanks. A lot of them are saying if the driver ends up being someone connected to David, it wouldn't be shocking if it was someone close to him, right?
Well done.
Now, the same two names keep coming up in those conversations, Neo and Asia.
Neo and Asia. And it's everywhere, guys. You could do a search. You can go into AI right now and find out who the people are that are intertwined and speculate about the grand jury and what they're looking for and who. And I'm telling you guys, that's the poster picture for the three. All right. The three stooges that knew that that little girl was a little girl and they went along with it. And after she died, they all just hushed up, but they're kids and they're in this generation where they still post. Think about Gypsy Rose. Look at what Gypsy Rose did. She took the life of her mom and then she went on Facebook and said, the pig is dead. The bitch is dead. Why would anybody do that? Because that's what this generation does. They go on social media and they've left a lot of breadcrumbs for us, guys.
Collins. And Asia wouldn't even be the only person people think might have known something early on. Fisher has also claimed that David's manager, Josh Marshall, received an email while Celeste Rivas was still missing. According to Fisher, the email included a missing person photo of Celeste and urged that David be told to take her home if there was any truth to the rumors. The message allegedly said, there's been talk that the artist David possibly has something to do with the disappearance of 13-year-old Celeste Rivas. If that statement holds any merit, please do the right thing and take her home. Her parents are very worried. Fisher claims that Josh Marshall took a screenshot of that email and sent it to David, who then forwarded it to one of Celeste's friends. But here's where it gets complicated. Josh Marshall has denied ever receiving that email. Now, as of right now, there is no confirmed evidence that Asia Collins helped commit a crime, and no charges have been announced against her.
But we know what's coming. I'm going to show you an article right after this and then give you even more updates. So buckle up, buckle in, hit that like button. If y'all are warm or you're cold or whatever, grab your blanket, get yourself a snack, all right? Because telling you, this is going to go down real soon. February, it's coming, and they got to make sure law enforcement, the prosecutor has to get everything lined up. They can't mess this up, guys.
What exists is a combination of statements, bad timing, and unanswered legal questions. And when a case involving the death of a young person still has so many unresolved parts, even small details start to feel heavy. This is why people keep watching this case so closely. Not because they want drama, but because they want answers. I want to know what you think. Do you believe that this new video of Asia changes how we should look at this situation? Or do you think that the internet is reading too much into?
Nope. I don't think that at all. But now I'm going to show you something else so you can see the speculation and the grand jury and what they're going to do next. It's coming fast. So this came out in Entertainment at the beginning of the month, and it says David case update, internet sleuth link alleged girlfriend Asia Collins to investigation. They claim she's an uncooperative witness. So we're pretty sure we know now Nia was uncooperative and she was uncooperative, and she kind of just like disappeared. She goes and posts, but she doesn't say much. All right. She doesn't say much. David, whose real name is David Anthony Burke, has become the focal point of the internet speculation after being linked to the murder of Celeste Rivas. Now, they say the 15-year-old girl, she didn't make it to 15, I don't think. You guys could correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe she did. He met her when she was 11. It was probably, you guys can correct me. 15, they say that. Tesla singer and rapper impounded it, following reports from staff and a foul odor. Later confirmed the car was registered David, which we went over that. As an LA County grand jury hears the evidence, guys, reports indicate that an unnamed female witness has been uncooperative, prompting a body attachment order or potential arrest. Now, the fact that they came after Neo so hard, I'm going to imagine they're going to do that. Now, internet sleuths are turning their attention to Asia, alleged to be David's girlfriend and frequent presence in his videos. As they speculate, she may be the uncooperative witness. Here's why they think it was her. All right. In December, TMZ reported that a female witness had been uncooperative with the grand jury, prompting them to the district attorney, Beth Silverman, to seek a body attachment. Now, a legal order allowing authorities to compel her to appear in court. Right, just what they did with Neo. I bet you he's gonna be back real soon. Reports indicate, but they don't name the witness, shares the same. And you guys tell me, listen, the reports indicate that the witness shares the same lawyer as David's music executive, Robert Morgenroth, who doesn't want anything to do with this and thinks he might be getting blamed. How does that happen? Does David's paying for everybody's legal counsel? And why? And was expected to testify to appear, leaving Silverman visibly frustrated and fueling speculation that an arrest may be imminent. Although there have been no follow-up reports whether the arrest has taken place or whether the witness has since cooperated, the internet, us, has taken it upon ourselves to investigate. Online sleuths quickly turned their attention to Asia, allegedly to be the romantic homicide singer's girlfriend. Asia is seen to be very close to him, part of the inner circle, and frequently appears in and around his content, putting her near the key events under scrutiny. All right. Why the internet thinks it could be Asia Collins? Well, the YouTube content creator Anna Oop, we just watched The Valley Girl, has released a video detailing the reasons why the internet thinks that the uncooperative witness could be Asia. Now, there's a lot more than just this video that we watched. First of all, many pointed out her proximity to David and the timeline. As mentioned earlier, Asia is part of the singer's inner circle, and she has been seen in his videos and social media posts around the time of Riva's death. All right, let me make sure that my internet didn't go out. All right. Everything you got? What happened, James? What's up? How you doing, Justice Jane? How's everybody doing? Good to see you guys. Hit that like button. I hope everybody's safe. All right, I'll read your guys' comments as soon as I'm done reading this. All right, so they speculate Asia were to be a witness. There's a high possibility she would share legal counsel with David's inner circle, namely the music executive. Online commentators note that Asia is reportedly part of the inner circle, making her a plausible candidate. Her social media activity had been examined by online sleuths. Allegedly, screenshots from her Instagram story surfaced in which she wrote, "For legal safety reasons, I do not feel comfortable talking about the case. I will speak about it in due time. In the meantime, I suggest you don't believe everything you see online." But it should be noted that the screenshot is unverified. in the internet's defense, it's timing. The timing is just too good to be a coincidence. As we don't believe in coincidences in true crime either. The grand jury's push for testimony with intensified speculation. Furthermore, they also notice Asia has relocated to Norway. Reddit users and other social media commentators claim Asia relocated to Oslo, Norway, shortly after the reports of the uncooperative witness emerged. All right. So there's her look at her post. And it's freaking from David. Look at David said 2 months ago. I didn't even see this. Asia Collins left to Norway. Did she? Did she? Let's take a look. Wow, I wonder if she really did though. Here, let's look at this. I want to look at this with you. Do you remember we were covering recently, we covered the case of Mimi, and we heard that one of the suspects had taken his own life. I wonder if they're doing that. And I'll tell you how much David's worth in a minute. But look at that. 2 months ago, when the heat got turned up, guys, David, from his post, from his account on Reddit, all right, he posted that Asia Collins left to Norway. Guilt trip? Wow. Look at that. Welcome to Asia Collins and Trent Kim. And they got their awesome. What does that say to you guys? Does anybody find that coincidental, or do you guys think that this is going to be our suspect? What do you think? Right, yeah, that's way too. I don't believe in coincidences like that at all. But I'm gonna say she's out in Norway, and they need to bring her back. All right, so let's continue. I've got so much today. Let me do this. Something just came out a few minutes ago about the 10 critical clues in the David investigation case. I'm going to put this on while I continue getting things ready. And I also want you to know David has been seen around a high school, guys. He's been seen around a high school giving children, young adults, giving them posters and giveaways, trying to entice minors. He was loitering around a Philadelphia high school, guys. I'm actually just going to show this to you because it needs to be. I need you guys to, when we talk about David, know he's a pedo, guys. And then I'll tell you how much David's worth.
Outlier podcast, who's been covering the story since the start. Again, it's massive. Lauren, thank you so much for coming on. What do you take away from this video? Why is it important to you?
Well, Jesse, I was watching this video and, at first I didn't see anything truly wrong with it. And then I decided to call one of the schools. I called an art school in Philadelphia that he was standing in front of, and I spoke to a faculty member, and I asked them, did David or his team, did they have permission to be here? Did they coordinate with the school to put up safeguards for the kids that were communicating with him? What's going on? And the faculty member told me, no, I remember this specifically because students saw a post on social media that David would be around the school.
Okay, is anybody weirded out by that? Does anybody understand what that means? He was out at a high school. First, he made a post, and he's enticing teenagers to communicate with him and to do stuff with him, to go with him, to have that exchange. All right. Yeah, she was only 14 now. His net worth, guys, is $2 million. Reported by Celebrity Net Worth late 2025. Estimated worth $2 million. He was already worth millions by the age 17 due to his major label. But that's what they're saying right now. He's worth about 2,000. All right, guys, I'm sorry, 2 million. Chat has stopped. Can you guys tell me in chat if you guys are still with me?
Giving away SZA tickets through this scavenger hunt type of thing. And essentially what he was doing is kind of loitering next to the school. And I think you kind of said it best. I mean, my mom told me you stay away from the creepy losers who aren't in high school who hang around the high schools. I mean,
and the reason it's important is because although he hasn't been charged, the biggest question that I get asked about this is what was his access to Celeste? Where was she? Because she disappeared before her body was found. I mean, was this video not seen by his camp? Do you know why it was out there?
Well, his camp is actually in this video.
The managers.
Oh yeah, and what's kind of shocking to me is that Interscope is huge, and they seem to be doing this almost grassroots marketing campaign or something like that. And look, I'm still digging into this.
Okay, there it is. Celeste was 14, the same as a freshman. Now, guys, nobody did a push for a grassroots campaign. Nobody but David. All right, look at that. Celeste was 14, the same age as a freshman in high school. And David's out there posting stuff on social media to entice them to see their favorite creator and give them things. Hashtag grooming. All right. Unbelievable that they're doing this. And all while he's under investigation for the disappearance and murder of Celeste. Even though they haven't named him, they named him a person of interest and he hasn't been indicted. That's wild, guys.
But I've found 2 or 3 more videos with about 3 other schools that I can identify. And at one point, David is kind of saying, oh, these kids they're getting right on the bus. They're not even coming over here to talk to me. And it's just, you know, it's strange, but it's like you said, we are examining this because the body of a 14-year-old girl was found decomposing, dismembered, allegedly, in his trunk.
And there's allegations.
So listen, this is all new. This is all new, guys. Yeah, she was 14. Thank you. I just clarified that. Listen, if you guys want me to gift a membership, put 1 in chat. If you guys want me to gift memberships and stuff, because the chat has just stopped. They cannot see it on my side. Probably the weather. Thank you, Zara. All right. Put a 1 in chat if you want me to gift memberships. All right, let's keep going. David's a pedo, guys.
Of grooming. Real quick, 20 seconds. What would be the advice you have for parents in the celebrity culture as we're talking about this?
Well, I mean, at this point, parents, they need to be involved in their children's lives, and they need to be communicating with the schools. And again, the schools need to be aware of stuff like this. There needs to be safeguards in place because this right here, a celebrity talking to impressionable kids with their phones, exchanging numbers and social media, who knows what could happen.
And reportedly, a grand jury is hearing evidence. We might have more updates in the next month. Lauren Conlon, great seeing you. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Jesse.
So there you go. You hear what's going on there? This guy's hunting for, it's all allegedly, of course. It's all allegedly, but when she calls the schools and we're looking at schools and we're talking to people, he was there. Maybe he wasn't hunting for children, but he certainly was loitering. All right. So we're looking at some of these. This just came out literally an hour ago. I wasn't looking to do this, but I want to give you guys the most information that I can in this case. And then one other thing I actually want to show you. Hold on. And I hope you guys are here. I want to make sure you guys are with me because I have 216 people, which means you still want me to continue. Right. So I wanted to show you the Lewis and Clark without the TMZ logo on it. Neo Langston mugshot, January 23rd. There's the booking number. And then we have his name, Neo Langston, 23-year-old male on 122. All right. And Helena Police Department, David's friend, was arrested, failure to appear. Obviously, you know, he's bonded out now, but I just wanted you to see the documentation that we have on him because it's going to keep coming, folks. More and more is coming out every day. And the closer we get to the grand jury being able to make a decision, hear the witnesses, the better it is that they're going to, the closer we are to arrest. All right, let's start with this real quick. Let me, we're talking about testify. And this is all SF Investigates, guys. I can go read off of his page right now. It says the arrest of Neo Langston for failure to appear to give testimony, which is the exact words used by the sheriff's department speaking with me. Again, Steve Fisher, SF. Targets are not typically called to testify in a case, guys. At state level, target letters are not always required, but subpoenaing a target without providing notice is extremely risky. A defense attorney would likely argue that any testimony was coerced. Had Neo received a target letter, he almost certainly would have retained counsel and invoked his Fifth Amendment rights, like you guys said. That makes me think that he is viewed as a witness rather than someone currently at risk of being charged. Did one person act alone in concealing Celeste's body? It was a homicide. Did a single individual act alone without a conspirator? I find that unlikely. This leads me to believe that Neo may represent a last-ditch effort by prosecutors, a Hail Mary of sorts, because they do not know yet. Do not yet have what they need to fully make the case. They may also be attempting to pressure him into cooperating, potentially by offering him immunity. And that's what I think's happening. Is Neo the last hope? He's going to flip, guys. I'm telling you. If that is the situation, it suggests the case is largely circumstantial, which could help explain the prolonged delay. I may be misreading the situation, but when I learned of Neo's arrest, my stomach dropped. I am deeply concerned about both the strength of the case and the pursuit of justice for Celeste. And we all should be, guys. We never should get cocky about a case and think that it's going to go all the way through, especially one with high-profile celebrities, all right? All right, who can do this to a 14-year-old? Let's go back a little bit. All right, I know Neo started the tour with him, but I believe he wasn't there for the entire duration. That's the manager. Rob was likely involved, but he may not have been on the road continuously or present at every show. Asia, however, I believe, was with David the entire time on the road at each show, as was with him the day the news broke, guys. So now this is David and Asia. She's been with him all the way up until as he was a person of interest, and now she's avoiding law enforcement and being quiet. I ask you why.
Maybe a performer. There has been talk about whether or not there was a connection to David, but let's keep going. I believe that because Isia left her car at the rental house on the day they boarded the tour bus for the first show in San Francisco in July. Her car was not picked up until September 19th when her father retrieved it late that evening as seen on surveillance. It would be extremely telling to know how those conversations unfolded after it became public that Celeste's body had been found. I am sure there was shock. Not about the body itself, because they already knew about that, in my opinion, but about the fact that the world was now or knowing of what kind of people they are. Who can do this to a 14-year-old or even have knowledge of it and still live with themselves? Months later, and not even a single offer of condolences to Celeste's family and friends from any of them. Nobody has ever been convicted of a crime by...
And guys, I got to tell you, nothing speaks guilt. Nothing speaks guilt like you disappearing and not saying anything. Nothing speaks guilty knowledge by, yes, rest in peace, Celeste. This guy had he has a public platform. He was on tour. He could have said, rest in peace, Celeste. She's a good friend, whatever it was. He said nothing. And he didn't even stop his show. They stopped it. That they called it to stop. He would have kept going. Only care about themselves. They're only covering for him. And I hope you guys got a membership if you wanted one. Silence speaks. Yes. All right. Let's keep going. Poor Celeste, man. This is unacceptable, guys. It really, truly is unacceptable.
Offering a condolence. And if people are offered immunity, it doesn't mean they're not guilty. It means they got lucky.
Yep.
But karma does not care about luck. To be clear, I am sick and bleeping tired of each day that goes by that those responsible are not behind bars. It's time to bleep and pay for what you or each of you did. So, Safa, quite the statements there from Steve Fisher. But I guess, his main complaint is, why hasn't there been an arrest? Why hasn't there been a charge? Is this the last-ditch effort to go with Neo? Because it seems that he's suggesting this is somebody who could have been brought up on charges as well. Is the government trying to make a deal here? I mean, why is this person being called as a potential witness if all the reporting is true?
So there's a few things to unpack here. And I think the first thing that we have to look at is, with respect to grand jury proceedings, those are secret and confidential. So I don't think that we have enough information to speculate.
This is what I want to go over with you guys, because I want you to know that pretty soon we're going to see breaking news. David's been arrested. It's coming, in my opinion. And I want you to please watch out for clickbait. As I did my research today, folks, I probably found 20 videos that said David was arrested, and it was all just clickbait. So be careful what you're paying attention to and listening to, because
Speculate as to the specific evidence that is going to be entered into grand jury through those witnesses. Now, I think the question is whether or not there could be one or more individuals that are charged with Celeste's murder. And so a part of what has to be proven is the identity of the person who has committed that crime or identities of individuals. So with respect to Neo or Mr. Langston, there is a question here. And of course, we're just speculating as to whether or not he had any level of involvement in the actual murder. There's question of how long he had been with David on tour. There was his absence from the tour at a certain point in time. And so we would want to know ultimately if that coincides with the time of her murder, which would also be information that will likely.
Look, he's smiling there. I haven't seen much. Now, Cynthia, I can't even pronounce her last name. That's his mom. He's on his mom's Facebook, and his mommy has money.
Be presented to the grand jury to bring about an indictment. We're not going to see an arrest unless there is an indictment by the grand jury. And so what I think Mr. Langston's role is here is likely that they want him to cooperate and testify against David. My speculation would be that David is their suspect, considering that he's the one that had an intimate relationship with Celeste. Ultimately, something occurred that resulted in her death. He may have had other individuals that participated in the concealment of her body, but we don't know that as of yet. And all of these things are alleged. We're just speculating.
I guess his concern.
Cynthia Shung. Thank you. Thank you, FloJo TV. I just didn't want to botch it. So thank you. Yeah, his mommy has money. He thought he was going to be comfortable hiding out at mommy's house. He didn't think it was going to be this serious, but I'm telling you, if they're tracking him down and extraditing him back, guys, there's a reason they want him. And I'm telling you right now, they did that on purpose, in my opinion, because they didn't give him a chance to get a lawyer and cooperate. And yeah, don't mess with clickbait. Only Jay. Thank you, Mo. I don't mean any specific content creators, but there are a lot of content creators popping up now. That's AI, and it's not real. They're just lying. The whole thing's not true.
Is right, like he's thinking it's either, it can't just be David, it has to be multiple people. Because by the way, Mark Garagos, the acclaimed attorney, once made the point that people he spoke to in this case believe there is a second person that authorities were looking at using social media activity, cell phone data, the Tesla digital data there, but to track this person. I don't know if it's Neo, I don't know if it's somebody else, but you're saying, I mean, it is possible that there could be somebody else we don't know, unidentified, that may be involved in this. It's not just put all the focus, like it's just Neo and David, there could be more.
That is absolutely a possibility. And if we're going with that, there was more than one individual that is ultimately a suspect in this case. Let's use Mr. Langston as an example, that he is the other individual that could.
Now, listen, they said they had a male and a female. So we now know the male is Neo Langston that they need as a witness. They've got the top 3 people that have, if they go back and look at social media and they look at the concerts, those people are constantly together. Now, Asia's already lying. Asia's already saying, yeah, I was around, but I didn't know her age. I thought she was 18, right? So she's already lying. And if she is in Norway, David said 2 months ago, she's in Norway. She's hiding out from the grand jury. She doesn't want to talk about it.
Be responsible. That is where the immunity may come into play if he's going to testify in grand jury. Not only that, but we also do have to deal with the fact that if he's not going to receive immunity, but he's been subpoenaed as a material witness, what information can he provide that would ultimately satisfy the prosecution, but also prevent him from incriminating himself from anything further? So that's where his attorney is going to come into play and ultimately have a conversation with the district attorney to say, this is what he will testify to, and this is what he will not testify to. And if he doesn't want to testify, he certainly doesn't have to, but we now know that he has been arrested for ultimate.
But guys, that's the thing. If they are able to tell him that if he doesn't testify, they're going to charge him on desecration of a body or some kind of after the fact. All right. Yeah. For the record, this story was broke when a neighbor of Neo's mom reached out to me on Reddit. Wow. Well, thank you, FloJo TV. For the record, you guys go sub to FloJo's channel. The story was broke when a neighbor of Neo's mom reached out to me on Reddit. Awesome. So I've been going a lot more on Reddit, just keeping myself quiet because Reddit doesn't like me, but thank you. I'm going to sub up to your channel. I appreciate that. That's awesome. No wonder, most likely spoiled, right? Yeah, that is crazy. Good to hear, FloJo TV. You can if you want to drop a link, Synth, or one of the mods, go for it.
not coming to testify. And so that's going to be something that he's going to have to deal with, unfortunately, as this case continues to proceed. And maybe there won't be an indictment without his testimony. So that would explain that last-ditch effort to have him come in and testify. But because there may be some culpability there, he has to be very careful with what he's going to present forward.
By the way, Steve Fisher maybe testified in front of the grand jury too. This was based on his ex posts, reading between the lines of what he said to us on Sidebar. If that is true, why would he have testified? What evidence do you think he can share that would be of value to prosecutors?
It seems that Mr. Fisher does have a significant amount of.
Now, guys, Mr. Fisher is David Fisher. That's the SF Investigates. He knows a lot, and I just subbed to you, but I want to show you a quick video if that's cool, since you let us know about that. All right, so Flojo TV has a channel, and Flojo TV has 962 subscribers and 35 videos. Let me pull this down for a second. I'm going to show you the arrest. Hey, I never have a problem sharing the love, guys. All right, so Flojo TV, that's your guy here in chat. I already subscribed to him, and I came down and looked at his videos, and he's got Neo Langston's arrest. So I'm assuming you filmed this then? I know. All right, so that's Flojo TV, Neo Langston's arrest. Hey, man, you're awesome. If you got the video, broke the story, I commend you. Everybody go sub up to him and check out his channel. All right, that's awesome, man. We love people that don't just sit around shit talking, but really want to get the real deal out there. So there you go. Appreciate you. Thank you. Let's keep going.
Information, or probably has a little bit more intimate details with respect to what the allegations are. And so he may be able to provide information with respect to any alleged suspect and where they have been located at the time or on or around the time where Celeste was murdered, who was on tour with David, at what point did they leave or return, what David's location was at that time. Not only that, but if we're talking about the area where the vehicle was located or in Hollywood Hills, then he may have some jurisdictional information there that would be provided to law enforcement to ultimately bring about an indictment and sort of just tie in the loose ends. He certainly could be used for that.
And as I mentioned, he's looking at that house that David was apparently staying at in the Hollywood Hills. And if you think back to that, again, this is again back when Celeste's body was found on September 8th, authorities afterwards executed a search warrant at that property, reportedly took evidence, like maybe even a computer. It was also reported that David had broken the lease, that he moved his stuff out. Talk to me about what evidence you think they gathered potentially from that house and how it was processed.
You know, there's a number of things that could be ultimately retrieved as evidence, you know, if that is the suspected location of the homicide.
And just to push back a little bit, when we spoke to Steve, he indicated there was nothing in there that she was killed.
Steve Fisher says he knows who was driving the car. And I just dropped a link for you, Flojo. Send me an email, man. That would be awesome. I would be happy to get your channel boosted up, my friend. Ask my Guilty of Crime crew. They'll tell you everybody that I've ever brought on my channel blows up. I mean, I'm not trying to say anything. You know, I only have 30, almost 1,000 subscribers, but every time I introduce a creator, y'all know what happens, right? They go from 900 subscribers to 3,000 subscribers because y'all are awesome. That being said, guys, we're still here. Hit that like button, subscribe, get a membership. I just saw 2 more memberships coming in, and I want to thank you so much. I'm waiting for them to come through, but I did see Joanne and I see Flojo TV. Welcome to the Crime Crew Official, my friends. All right. So yeah, you guys, yeah, we love to have other creators be up there. We're all about that. No threat, right? We just love to see other people do good. That's what I do. I love it. All right, let's keep going.
or died there. But I don't know if investigators found something else that he didn't. Well, I don't know for sure, but just giving everybody a little context there.
Sure. So ultimately, what could have been located is, particularly if David was staying there, would be, maybe some sort of DNA evidence. His clothing could have been clothing or anything that he may have had on at the alleged time of the incident. Again, if we're going under the assumption that he is the suspect. So certain DNA evidence that could be obtained from the clothing. If a computer was taken, then there's certain digital.
Oh, and we love Mab Investigates too. I saw the link drop. Awesome. We love you. Now, guys, this picture here is wild and it's going to come up again and again. He is wearing the same clothes in this picture. When I was looking at the time frame, this guy hopped on a plane and was in, one state all the way across country, and he thought he was being sneaky, but these youngsters are all about social media. So we see him in multiple pictures wearing the same outfit. And it seems like he was trying to create an alibi, but he fucked up. He fucked up by wearing the same clothes and the time frames that he posted. He wasn't so sneaky. So I see law enforcement easily building a timeline based on the flight records, the digital footprint, and his own social media. And that includes Reddit. That includes Discord, Instagram, Facebook. This guy's on all of them.
We're going under the assumption that he is the suspect. So certain DNA evidence that could be obtained from the clothing. If a computer was taken, then there's certain digital forensic evidence that could be on those drives that law enforcement could ultimately pull. So if there's a certain manner of death that's determined and we see that there is information on that hard drive that is consistent with the manner of death, or for an example, how to conceal a body and things like that, then that certainly is circumstantial evidence that would elevate and likely point to that individual, David, or somebody else at that location or who had access to that laptop or computer committing that alleged.
Yeah, I love the community that we created, Mab and Flojo TV, arting with Lynn. You're late, but you're just on time. Abby Lane, how you doing? Cynthia, you're good. You're here. The state won't use the private investigator to testify. He doesn't. I know he doesn't. But I still want to know what he knows. Who was driving the car? All right. But welcome everybody that's new. It's all love here. When I first started my YouTube channel, I actually came into YouTube thinking, kumbaya, we're all better together. And boy, did my dreams get shot down by many shitty creators. So I always hope to get the good creators. Mab, I know you're a good guy. And Flojo TV, I can't wait to see what you got. All right. I know, Jessica. I know. 14 years old, groomed from the time that she was 11. My daughter's 11.
Crime. Also video footage, assuming that there may have been ring camera footage, we can narrow down the time that the vehicle had left, the last time the vehicle was at that location, if it ever returned, was Celeste ever at that location? So there's a lot of things that could possibly be taken in as evidence. And also we, again, don't know the manner of death specifically, but if there is something that would appear to be a murder weapon that does have Celeste DNA on it, then that certainly could be something that is retrieved.
And there's something interesting you mentioned about the computer, right? So maybe a computer would have purchase history, things that you were looking at. I'll talk about that in a second. But there's been a lot of talk about what David's relationship was with Celeste. It hasn't been confirmed by authorities, but there's been speculation that there was a...
Oh, it's confirmed by everybody except authorities. And I do want to tell you while I have this pause, there was 5 updates in the case since the last time you've seen it. I just wanted to just make sure y'all know. David's ex-girlfriend allegedly knew about Celeste's death. Asia Collins is rumored to have known about it before it ever became public, guys. There are clips of her laughing while discussing someone confessing to murder. That's what I showed you earlier. And she's reportedly uncooperative and in Norway. So let's see what happens with that. As far as the district attorney is building a forensic case. So the district attorney is bringing in outside forensic experts to examine the evidence that they have thus far. This suggests a possible disagreement with the initial medical examiner. You guys remember what the medical examiner said? They disputed that they said she was frozen. Law enforcement disputed that, especially after the prosecutors blocked the release of the autopsy details. Again, we still don't know if she was frozen, cold. We heard she was decapitated, guys. And that's still unconfirmed. Also, his manager is panicking. All right. Reports indicate that David's management team is panicking, a sign that the legal risks are increasing. Questions have been raised about his manager, Josh Marshall, whose label was listed as inactive and allegedly received an email about Celeste being a missing child. But he's denied those claims, guys. All right. And then we got the grand jury we're waiting for. And then Beth Silverman is leading the case. She is a prosecutor, a homicide prosecutor, and she wants to get these people, she wants to take them down for good. All right. So I just want you to know what we're looking at here today.
Romantic relationship, and she's a minor. You think they're looking at that computer for any evidence to support that? And if that's the case, then you're talking about potential charges that don't even have to deal with murder or the concealment of a body.
Absolutely. And say, for example, this computer is a MacBook, so for example, and with the MacBook, it's typically tied to all of the devices like iPhones and things like that. They're going to be able to see if there are any photos between David and Celeste in that computer or in those devices that would ultimately indicate that they did, in fact, have a romantic relationship, or what the nature of their relationships were. Also, we're looking at or possibly able to view text messages, what the text message thread between David and Celeste was, the conversations they were having, the level of intimacy that they had or did not have at the time that they were engaged in some sort of relationship.
Now, I wonder if they're going to charge him with sex with an underage minor, or I don't know if it's sex. I don't know if they're going to charge it. I don't know what that charge would be, but the fact that they're looking into him going all the way back till she was 11, many people talking about the grooming. I wonder if they're going to charge that. If they're actually going to charge it, I wonder how the prosecutor, if anyone knows that prosecutor, let me know, because he should be charged for that. And so should the other people, knowing she was a minor. That's a lie. I don't believe any of that they didn't know.
So all of those things will come into play.
I mean, look in the videos. He tells people to delete stuff. He makes a video, covers this girl's face, Celeste, not this girl. He covers, has doubles, does all this for what?
Another interesting thing is that with respect to Mr. Langston, it's going to be interesting to see now that he's been taken into custody. If he was taken into custody with his phone, for example, then that's going to likely be held by law enforcement, and they can go and get a warrant in order to dump the phone, so to speak, or to extract evidence from that phone. So, and ultimately, if David comes into custody as well, any devices that he has on him, I've seen it time and time again, where law enforcement will issue or attempt to get a warrant so that they can extract the contents of those phones. So I think that the devices, whether it's
Asia Collins, my friend, and I'm still waiting for things to come through. So thank you, Kel, so very much for the $5 super chat. It's a great community because we have an amazing leader. Love you, Jay, and love you too. If I didn't thank you, Joanne Allen, thank you. And FarQ, member for 3 months, thank you for all you do. And thank you for being part of the Crime Crew family. Appreciate you. Her name's Asia Collins. Thank you, guys. My chat doesn't come through as fast as I'd like it to. All right, spread the good news. Already with Lynn. What happened? All right, let's keep going. We can get through this.
The computer or phones that ultimately may come into play will provide critical evidence.
And I mentioned if you go on the computer, right, there could be evidence of purchases. This is something that's come up a lot, the bird cage, this alleged bird cage. This was something that came forward from, again, Steve Fisher. So I go back to an X post that he had where he goes, although my words have been misquoted by some, what I actually said about certain items found at the Doheny address was that they were, quote, items you would expect to find on a farm rather than in a home in the Hollywood Hills. One of those items was a burn cage incinerator advertised to burn at 1600 degrees.
All right, we looked into that. I'm not even gonna, that wasn't used. It was new. Who knows what he was doing with that burn cage? We've gone over that. I don't find it to, I don't find that to be much evidence until we hear more. All right.
Going to have to be very careful with how they play this. And again, a lot of it goes to information that we don't know at this time, which is the condition of the body, what it appeared to look like at the time that it was recovered. And
you guys got to remember, they keep on changing the fact. They keep changing the way that they're portraying the crime scene. Or maybe that's not the crime scene. Maybe it's where they dump the body. But yeah, the burn cage might show intent, but the problem with the burn cage, we've talked about it at length, is that it was brand new, and so was the chainsaw. All right. Only me, baby, says, hey Jay, it's been a minute. What's up, my girl? Or my friend. I don't know. I never know genders. Also looked up, guys, Celeste Riva's parents, and her parents have only spoken publicly a few times. But what they try to paint a picture of is that their family was desperate to protect her. They were aware of some of what she was involved in, and they say they were terrified by the events that led up to her disappearance and death. All right. So her parents are immigrants from El Salvador, and they're living in Lake Eleanor, California, with her mom, father, and at least one brother. They're describing themselves as heartbroken, and they're not making much statements. Anything that they're saying is their anguish over the loss, the frustration with the investigation, and they plead for justice and community support. All right. A source close to Celeste's mother said the family knew she was involved with David. They also had multiple social media appeals after she went missing in April 2024, which were later taken down, guys. They appealed for her to come and for the public to help, and then they stopped. All right. They said, stop looking for her. Celeste Riva's mom received a disturbing call. David gets a twist. Oh my God. So that they are talking about her, and a source close to the mom said that the family was very aware of the involvement. I should read this article to you guys. Who wants me to read the article about her parents knowing
what injuries Celeste had sustained, and ultimately a manner of death? I don't know that or think that there's any indication that she was burned, and it appears that there was no use of this burn cage specifically. And so what's going to happen is ultimately it could come up, but if the prosecution, it doesn't feel or believe that it is consistent with her manner of death, that might be something that they want to stay away from, because they have to present things that are going to really show that this prosecution is credible, that it's truthful and correct, and that they have the right identity of the individual or individuals involved, and that the manner of death is truly specific to how Celeste was ultimately murdered. And if there's no...
Yeah, that's going to be difficult with the way her body was heavily decomposed. She's supposedly not alive for about a year.
Hold that was placed on anything coming out of the ME's office. The LAPD got a court order, so we don't know the cause, the manner of death. Reports like toxicology, those reports are sealed. Law enforcement basically said it's to preserve the integrity of the investigation. Even so, how much can Celeste Rivas Hernandez's body reveal about what happened to her, when it happened to her, and who might have done something to her?
In terms of decomposition, I think that they'll be able to name at least a time frame as to when she entered postmortem. Not only that, but the manner of death, the condition of her body.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult for that. Although it's going to come out, it's sealed right now. But I do want you guys to see this about the parents. I did not have this before. I knew it was speculated, but the parents said to stop looking, guys. This news source says that stop looking for her. Celeste Riva's mom received a disturbing call. All right. In September 2025, it says a source close to Celeste Riva's mom said the family was aware of her involvement with David, this garbage, and police are treating Celeste's case as a homicide. The body of a 15-year-old girl identified as Celeste was found in the trunk of a car, you guys know, belonging to David on September 8th. And they had reported Celeste been missing since April of 2024. Her family had made several social media appeals for help, and then they took the post down, guys. A source close to Celeste's mom told the outlet that the family was aware of her involvement with David Burke, known professionally as David. The source said, I still don't know a lot, but I understand why police didn't do more for a period. Celeste came back home by herself and stayed with her mom, but the police weren't involved. Why didn't they ask her, where are you? Are you okay? I don't know why she came back, but then she disappeared again and went back to him. The source also claims that someone had contacted Celeste's mom, urging her to stop searching. I know someone called her mom and said, stop looking for her. She's fine. They ultimately told the family to take down the social media post about her missing. Guys, it remains unclear who the caller was or whether they had connections to David. No suspects named as of now. Los Angeles police is not named. This is later, but this was last year. And then David's show got canceled. It only got canceled because they insisted, not because he wanted it to. So I do want you guys to realize that they knew where she was. and they knew where she had been going, and they didn't stop her or bring her home. And the speculation is that they were being paid to do so.
So if there appears to be a break along.
So listen, there's got to be a big connection in this case with a caller. It could have been David's management team. It could have been one of the friends that warned them to stop looking, right? Damn, man, this is crazy. This case just gets darker and darker.
In that area, then we know that there may have been some strangulation. Ultimately, if her body is still intact enough to show whether she has defensive wounds, there could be an indication that whatever ultimately happened, she fought back. It just depends on the condition of the body. You're also thinking about it being in a trunk. It's California, so the temperatures at the time, being concealed in a specific space for quite some time. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the toxicology report ultimately comes back. We may not have all of the answers that we're looking for, but I think that there will be certain key pieces of evidence. Again, for example.
And guys, that toxicology report may just tell us that she overdosed. And then if they want to stick to the story of that, if the toxicology report reflects that, they can say, oh, it was accidental and we panicked. We don't know. They might not say anything. Love that dog. I love your dog, Nancy. Hello. Yeah, hit that like button if you came in or you're leaving. Do us a favor. It's free.
If there's a neck break, if it's intact enough to show defensive wounds, any type of toxicology that may still be left in the body, whether that be any type of drug or anything.
So sad, guys. Just moment of silence for her. I don't know how this keeps happening time and time again. Guys, there's a case right now out there of a missing boy that went to go meet somebody from Roblox and he never came back. All right. Who do you guys think did the SWAT call? Any ideas? That's a good question. I'm thinking it was somebody that did the SWAT call that was close, close to the camp, but knew what was happening all along. And they felt like, hey, we need to get this son of a bitch. I think it was someone in the inner circle, right? Even if the parents weren't paid, they still need to be charged. I agree. They let her do that. I know, Eileen. I know. Some people speculate it's Neo. Well, I've speculated that it was Neo just because of his position with David and the closeness. But I also think Asia knows way too much.
Things of that nature that would indicate there was a substance entered into her body. All of those things may come into play, and there may be enough to have some of that once the toxicology or the medical exam is performed. And I'm sure it probably has been at this point. But again, as we know, they've kept that tightly under wraps.
And going back to where we started with the grand jury, again, this is all centered about if they are hearing evidence and if there are a grand jury that's impaneled to return an indictment, because there's sometimes grand juries that just, further an investigation, but assuming it's one that can return an indictment. You talk about evidence, you talk about testimony. I think it was TMZ who first reported that David's manager and the president of his touring company, Robert Morgenroth, maybe spoke in front of the grand jury, testified because
I'm pretty sure he did, guys. I'm wondering what he said. I'm sure he has I believe he has the same attorney. That whole camp, the whole inner circle is using that one particular attorney. This guy knows more as well. All right. In my opinion.
It was alleged in the courthouse hallway, he was overheard telling his lawyer that the prosecutor, so possibly Deputy DA Beth Silverman, who's a career prosecutor, was, quote, very pushy on why I didn't call police. I said I feel like I didn't have the responsibility to do that and just wanted to continue with the tour. And by the way, David was on tour when...
Damn, man. Damn, he didn't call. And I'm telling you, they didn't want... It was money. Bottom line was money. The moment I really suspected that this pedo did this was when he continued the tour and didn't say anything about this girl that we see him obsessing over for years, right? It's like you guys, it's like if you guys know me and I have my closest people, right? I got the closest people and someone passes away and you don't hear me say a word and I just move forward. What's wrong with her? What's wrong with Jay? That's exactly what's happening here. Bucci Mane, what's up? Let's go.
Last body was found. That was a tour that was canceled. We haven't seen David since. We talked about Neo, right? Now you talk about Robert Morgenroth. Value of his testimony, value of the evidence he has?
The value of the evidence may not be as significant as Neo or as David's testimony would be himself if he ultimately decided to testify in grand jury, which I don't think is going to be a thing. But he will likely be able to establish a timeline of.
Yes, he will. And he knows more, or he wouldn't have said why he didn't call the cops. It wasn't his business. It's because he wanted to make money. Now, listen, Nancy, the Chad and Lori could not use the same lawyer. You want to know why? The only reason why, it wasn't because of the co-conspirators. It was because Lori Daybell was saying that she was crazy and she couldn't continue with the trial. She was playing crazy. That's why. And Chad Daybell wanted to drop her and blame it on her. So when you're co-conspirators, you got one person playing crazy, one person pointing the finger at Lori. You can't be on the same. That's why. Chuchi Sleuth, I got your email. I got you. I've been working on that Devlin case already, and we're going to have it up on Ghost, but I'd love to do an extended version of Devlin Tate. I absolutely have all the research, and I can cover it right now if I wanted to. All right, I don't know. These kids, man.
Events in conjunction with the time of Celeste's murder. So again, I don't know the exact date or time that they're alleging she was murdered, but his tour manager would be able to testify as to where David was at that time, who else was there on tour at that time, the location that they were located at, if anybody entered or left, or what specifically he saw. And sometimes with grand jury testimony too, the prosecutors just like to get as much evidence as they can. Not all of it may be relevant, but all of it typically will at least establish some elements of the offense that they intend to charge and the identity of the individuals that they plan to charge.
A couple more pieces of evidence I have to ask you about. You mentioned timeline, right? When she died. We don't know exactly, but this is an interesting timeline because we believe.
Yeah, and we're almost done. We're going through the timeline, and I really want you guys to know the whole embodiment of the story, what's happening now, what happened, and where we're going next. Because as soon as I hear about an indictment or another arrest, I'm all over it again. You're very welcome. The number 4 is significant in this case, in my opinion. Probably. I think you're right. I didn't even think about that. Good point.
That she disappeared from Lake Elsinore in 2024. There was surveillance footage from, I believe, March 2024 that was released. It was taken from a local liquor shop in that area. She apparently lived nearby. It seemingly captures her walking, then jogging down a street. She disappears from view. We thought that might be the last footage, but then TMZ obtained footage of what appears to be Celeste.
Yep, this is her. We watched this on my last episode. She was home. Now, you guys got to remember, her parents were from El Salvador. They came over here, probably didn't have a lot of money. I think she has a younger brother. You know, look at the house. They're living in like an apartment in Los Angeles, probably not the best neighborhood. We hear her fighting with the neighbors, and then she leaves again. Her parents didn't call the cops. They didn't stop her. They could have done a lot, guys. Your kid cannot just leave at 11, 12, 13, 14. It's your responsibility to call the cops. Do something. Okay, so this is the last one. The last footage.
In September of 2024, and in this footage that was captured on Nest camera on September 8th, 2024, so a year before her body was found, she's seen having some sort of conversation with neighbors, reportedly over a prank that was pulled on her parents' home, potentially a ding-dong bitch, not entirely sure. And TMZ reported that there was maybe some racial slurs that may have been asserted in this altercation. So you see that footage, and then Steve Fisher indicated that the last known photograph, proof of life, that he has of Celeste was January 2025. And then you couple that with LAPD releasing a statement that, quote, we have evidence that David traveled to the Santa Barbara area sometime during the spring of 2025. The reason for that trip is still under investigation, and we've drawn no conclusions at this point about the relevance of the trip to this case. Again, couple that with the idea of how long was she in that Tesla. I also have to say, I think it's interesting that Neil Langston, the house where he was arrested, his mom's house, apparently she bought that house in March of 2025.
See, it's all interesting, guys. They're trying to connect the dots with the financial aspect of who's doing what and why. It's a house in Lake Eleanor, the apartments next door. Okay, so they were in that apartment area, and I saw like some fighting going on, but obviously the parents weren't blinging if they're immigrants trying to take care of the kids. So I guess they just took the money and ran. We're going to see what happens. Mark Means just remembered his name. Mark Means just remembers. All right, let's keep going. So what they're insinuating here is that David bought this guy's parents a house? Maybe because he helped with the taking of her life, the murder?
So if we're trying to set up a timeline here of what happened to Celeste, Safa, what do you think the relevance is? What are you taking away from the evidentiary value of that timeline?
Thank you.
Absolutely. So what we know, at least if there's that last proof of life video from January 2025, we know that her body was recovered in September of 2025. That in-between time frame, which indicates that, she may have still been alive for some time, but there might be evidence that David came to the area that she was located in, at least maybe in March. She still could have been alive at that point in time. I think that there was evidence that she had been deceased for at least a month before her body was recovered. And so one of the things that will have to happen is that law enforcement is going to investigate if there's any indication that she was still alive in those in-between months of January to maybe July or August. If there's a footprint of her online or social media that is true and accurate to the time.
Oh no, they're going to find that what they have, the timeline now is exactly what they were thinking. And they're going to find that Neo in between traveling to wherever, right? Because he traveled quite a bit, and the Santa Barbara trip was right around the time where they think that she was dead. They're going to find all that. Thank you. Appreciate that. I'm going to put those pictures up in a minute. Yes, follow the money. And they're all in the dark crap. Those are beautiful pictures. Justice for Celeste Rivas. I believe it's probably in front of their house. I thought they lived in an apartment. I didn't look too much into the parents. I know that they didn't do everything that they should have. Again, I never want to victim blame, but in my opinion, Celeste is the victim that should have been protected by her parents. Her parents should have protected her better. I'm sorry, but I said it.
And that day, for example, she posted something on social media in June of 2025, then we can narrow it. And if it's properly authenticated as her being alive and at that specific date and time, then we know we can narrow the timeline as to when she was actually possibly murdered. And again, if we're looking at timeline and David being on tour, other individuals being involved, what the prosecution is going to do is narrow it down as precise as possible. And they may say something to the effect of, on or around August 1st,
Now, I think they're going to have a pretty solid timeline, guys. I've seen the timelines thus far, and they've got it down when he was traveling and in between the travels. Because remember, you could be in California one minute, and then you could be in Paris the next when you have a jet. And then you could be back in San Diego the next day or the next hours. I know. It's so bad what they did to her body.
2025, or between these dates to these dates, we believe that Celeste Rivas was murdered by this sort of manner by this individual. And so as long as the timeline adds up with who may have been available or present to commit that crime during that time frame, then the prosecution is going to narrow it as best as they can. And it may not be precise, but they will attempt to do it as best as they can.
Safa, one more piece that I got to talk to you about, this title transfer. It was reported that...
Okay, I wanted you to talk about this, and then I'm going to show you the memorial pictures. And then class will be dismissed. Thank you guys for being here. We still have 200 people in chat. Hit that like button and make sure you share this with your friends. Thanks for all the people that joined today, all the people that super chat, super sticker. Y'all are great. And I'm so glad to have been able to meet you, Flojo TV. We haven't met officially, but I'm all for you. He's going to say I find. All right, let's listen to this. He transferred his assets into his parents' name, which may not be allowed. I didn't know she was in the car. She was in the front trunk when they found her. But Steve Fisher says he knows who was driving that car when they dropped it off.
David had transferred ownership of one of his Texas homes to his mom's name at the same time that Celeste's body was released to her family. This is according to ABC6. Two ways to look at that, right? One, something shady's going on. Or B, maybe he had a feeling he was going to be arrested and indicted and wanted to transfer ownership for financial reasons. Could be 100% innocent, or maybe just coincidental. I don't know.
I don't think there's often such a thing as coincidence.
Thank you. In true crime, there's no coincidences. That's what I'm going to say. There's no way, coincidentally, he's going to transfer his assets into someone else's name all while this is going down. Number one, I think he doesn't want to have that large amount of assets when they look, right? Because the lawyer, he's got to pay for this top-notch lawyer, and they won't be able to take it away if he transfers it. But will California law allow that? Probably, because they don't have an indictment yet. I hope not. Oh, man, I went all the way
to the...
My bad. I went all the way back. All I wanted to do
his assets, which she actually can't do, but that could be a possibility.
Safa Robinson Ferrer, thank you so much for coming on. Really, really appreciate you breaking down all this potential evidence in this case. Thank you. Great seeing you.
Thanks, Jesse.
And that's all we have for you right now here on Side.
All right, let me pull this up. I don't know why nobody is answering the door. Hold on real quick. I'm going to pull this up and then I'll run back. I just want to say my last things. I don't know. Okay, so there's justice for Celeste. Are you here, Flojo? Can you tell them, did you take those pictures? 1 second. 1 second. Sorry. Go back there. Up there. Okay. Oh my God. Okay, go ahead. Go. I have to wait for my bike here. Honey, I'm in the middle of filming. What? I'm almost done. Give me 2 minutes. Yeah. A girl's job is never done. Oh, you did take those. Okay, thank you. All right, I love to share those because, you know, today we're talking about leaked video of Neo getting arrested. What is Neo going to tell the police? And third suspect identified. But we have to remember we're here for the victims. All right, we're here to make sure Celeste Rivas gets the justice she deserves. All right, this is in front of her house. Thank you. All right, so let's take a look. She definitely deserves a lot more than she received in this life. Justice for Celeste and her little, remember the Hello Kitty stuff? David was wearing those Hello Kitty Crocs just like her. He's a weirdo. In my opinion, he's a pedo and a murderer. Aw, may she rest in peace. Let me take a look. I'm going to drop it down, though. I don't want to accidentally share your information. All right, let's take a look at her memorial. Courtesy of Flojo TV. Oh, they had to what is this? What is this? Celeste Rivas last photo. Oh, what is that? The last photo? Did you want me to put that up there? Yeah, I saw the mugshot. Very smug. Very smug. It pisses me off how smug he is. All right, you put out there was something there that Celeste Rivas last seen breaking investigator update. What is that, sir? Let me see. I'm not sure what you wanted me to share. You sent me a few things. Hold on. Oh. All right, is there something? Let me check here. All right, rest in peace, Celeste. Absolutely justice for Celeste. I still don't know what I'm supposed to be sharing, but I guess this is her house. Let me share the pictures outside of the house. All right, photos from the memorial. I guess that's a nice house. If that's what they were living, I don't know if that one, or I'm assuming this one that you shared. And then, oh, that's like a business there. And then you're driving around. Is that the house? I'm a little confused at what I'm looking at here. Where'd you? Oh, okay. I didn't know if you sent me something that you wanted me to share, but I did not want to share your personal information. Oh, and then they covered it up. Okay. All right. So we got the photos there. They covered it. Must be raining. You can see outside. May she rest in peace is all I can say. This is it's a sad case, and she should have been protected by her parents, and she just wasn't. Hold on. Her screen. Let me see. What is this? Was this yours right here, Celeste? Oh, it is. Let me put this on for a second. I'm gonna hit the like, and then Flojo TV. You guys subscribe to him. Let's see what this is.
We have of Celeste is January 2nd, 2025.
What's up, you guys? On
okay.
January 2nd, private investigator Steve Fisher shared a critical update on X regarding the disappearance of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. Fisher, who was hired by the homeowner of the Hollywood Hills home linked to singer David, has released a photo that's described as the last proof of life for Celeste. Now, today we're going to be taking a look at what this photo tells us and how it changes the timeline of a case that has shocked the public. Now, this is a tweet that Steve Fisher put out on January 2nd. It says, 1 year ago today, January 2nd, 2025, is the date of the last known photo my investigation has uncovered of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. It is important to emphasize that law enforcement investigators have access to more extensive resources and may very well have images or evidence from after this date. This is not to suggest that anything specific happened on that date, only that it is the last confirmed time and date stamped piece of evidence that I have showing when Celeste was alive.
And he's done a lot of work in this case. This is the one
What you're looking at right here, this is the actual photo known as the last proof of life of Celeste Rivas Hernandez, as identified by Steve Fisher. So according to Fisher, this image represents the final photograph that his investigation has uncovered showing Celeste alive. This image shows Celeste standing along the pedestrian walkway of the Baldwin Hills Scenic Overlook. She's basically standing right next to a metal guardrail, and right across the street is a gated property. This photo appears to be taken in the daytime, and there's no crowds, there's no landmarks, nothing that's going to draw attention. Just literally Celeste standing there.
And guys, she's always got a hoodie on or glasses. He's very, very protective of her identity and not knowing who it is, because he knows that she was only 14, 13, 12, 11, right?
Looks like she might even be on the phone. Now, to better understand this photo, you kind of have to understand like where this photo was actually taken, right? Now, if you head over to this map right over here, there's only one park.
Oh, we love you already with your map time, Flojo. A bunch of us just subscribed to you, and I really like your voice. It's nice and soothing, so thank you. We love map time here. I don't really do that. I do other things, but maps, but I love looking at them. All right, let's understand where this photo was. This is what I want.
Lot here in the Baldwin Hills Scenic Overlook, and that's right here where this blue dot is. Now, the red X marks the approximate location where Celeste was standing when this photo was taken, along that pedestrian walkway. Now, this is not...
Is that Culver City? I was born in Culver City, by the way. I'm an LA kid. I grew up in LA, and then I moved to the Bay.
A scenic overlook. This is not even a viewpoint. This is basically a private residence blocked by trees. This image here shown, it basically illustrates exactly what her viewpoint would have been from that spot. So I'm standing here right about where we believe the photo may have been taken. Now, if you guys can see those two orange little stone entranceways for their gate, it's actually a lot closer than it appears in the video. But
that's interesting. I never even thought about that. I thought they were like across the street, maybe from David's house or some uppity whatever, but now we're gonna find out. Yeah, he's a little demon. Map time. I love it. I love it. Yes, I love it. I was born and raised in Fremont. That rhymes with J. All right, let's keep going. That's awesome, man.
This appears to be right where she was at, standing when she took the photo. If you guys turn this way, right, and you guys wonder what she was looking at, there was absolutely no scenic route for her to view. So she was standing here. Or even if she was standing, let's go down a little bit more and just say she was standing here, right? There really is nothing to look at. There's a little bit of a, view right there. But other than that, there's really not much to see out there. So I'm curious why she was standing there. Now, this photo does not explain.
Yeah, it does make me wonder, but I guess he's always just trying to be private with her. Like, did he not? Was she getting, he didn't want somebody 15, 16? I don't think so. I still think it was an accident, but the way that he, in all of his pictures and images and posts, he always tries to hide her. That is an interesting, what were they doing?
What happened next. It doesn't even tell us why she was there. It doesn't even tell us who else was present at the time. And it doesn't even answer any questions about this case.
Yeah, it looks like
all it does is give us some geographic context as identified by Steve Fisher. And sometimes the most revealing part of an image isn't what's happening in it, but maybe where it was taken.
Yep, agreed.
Obviously, I visited this spot because I wanted to see it for myself. And after seeing it in person, there was one thing that was clear. There's no view here. It's just a fence, a gate, and a private residence. So I wanted to ask you all, if there's no scenic reason to be standing at this specific gate, what do you think the purpose of that photo was? Do you think it was a genuine moment or a staged benchmark in a much darker timeline? Let me know in the comments below.
Interesting. That's a good question, and we appreciate your thought process. Now we know Neo's arrested and released. Will he talk? Justice for Celeste Rivas, and let's get David Anthony Burke, this weird pedophile, locked up. How about that? Let's get it going. Thank you so much, Nancy Casanova, for becoming a new member. And I love your dog. I always love curly dogs. I had a Bichon. Now I have a Maltipoo and 2 Yorkies, but beautiful dog. All right, guys. What up, y'all? Master Death Hancock. Again, go Glendale. You work in Glendale? I grew up down south, man, in Palmdale and Quartz Hill, man. Born in Culver City, Pacoima. Very nice to meet you, my friend. I appreciate your content. I think we all do. She's hiding herself. She's a runaway who don't want to go home. She asked the live stream to be deleted. Well, I thought maybe it was the parents knew where she was, so maybe she was hiding, but I know he hid her quite a bit. All right. So I miss living in Costa Mesa. All right. Yeah. Well done, guys. We love our content creators. Mab is another one. Make sure that you guys are subbed up to Mab Investigates, and Mr. Mab, tell Mrs. Mab I say hello. All right, guys. Amazon Payless. You guys are now. You guys are chopping it up. All right, we're out of here. 2 hours and 15 minutes. What's a girl to do? I'm gonna go eat. Guys, I love you. Thank you for everything today. Thank you guys for sticking with me. Thank you, Krista. I appreciate you. I'll see you guys Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, California, 7 p.m. Eastern. If you're Central, it's 6 p.m. See you guys tomorrow, and thank you. Mwah. Love you all. Bye. Good night.
Guilty of crime.
I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance. Guilty of crime.
Are you guilty?